I noticed the parking lot lines, you were totally faded. And when you can do something pretty well, and you don't do it very often, you know, it's an old trade, it's kind of fun. Like, I enjoy painting if I do it twice a year for 2 hours, right? Because I'm still pretty good at it, you know, it's like, and so I go, I know what I'm gonna do. So I went to the store, I got my 4-inch roller, I got my big sidewalk paint, and I did like 30 parking places, right? And I kind of enjoyed the process, but boy, you know, when the people, the employees came in, they go, what? This whole place looks better. It was literally 2 hours work, you know what I'm saying, with a little sidewalk. And so there's all kinds of little things you can do that make everybody mindful of you know, what you're thinking about with your school. So that's step number 1, okay? Step number 2, refocus. This is a really important one. Let me explain what I mean by that. I talked about how psychologically we all are kind of programmed to take the summers off. That includes many of us in this room right now, okay? We kind of, maybe we're not fully engaged as we are different times of year. And that's cool, that's natural, that happens. So, you know, yourself and your team on empowering habits that you may have let slip over the summer. Okay, what, you know, work habits. Maybe you haven't been scheduling appointments as good as you could have. Maybe you haven't been writing awesome cards to students, you know, quite as well as you could. Maybe you haven't been confirming appointments, you know, quite like you should. You know, there's things that maybe you let slip, maybe not, but maybe you let slip. So this is a good time, you know, to make the mental shift from summer to fall. Okay. So that's why having an end of summer staff meeting or party or ritual, something to say, hey man, boom, I hope you guys, wasn't it a great summer? Awesome. You know, boom, back to work, so to speak. Okay. The reality is, a lot of people in the summertime, they check out even when they're at the school. I know I've done it. You know, I show up and I'm here, but I'm really not as here as I might be otherwise. I'm kind of on my brain is somewhere else, and that's natural, but especially in the summer. But that's time to get your whole team to say, okay, guess what? If we do things right, you know, September, October can be an amazing time of year. Would you guys agree? For our business, it can be an amazing time of year if we're prepared for it. Okay, and a lot of this has to do with, you know, what we did for this summer. And that's another subject we'll talk about next spring. But right now it's a matter of, okay, fall is upon us, okay? So to try to get your team to be refocused, okay, and yourself as well. You know, when we teach our kids, wherever you are, be there, right? And so, you know, if you're going to be at the school from, you know, for several hours a day or a week, when you're there, be all in. Okay, step number 3 is retrain. Be brilliant in the basics. So, how many guys have ever had something they used to do, it worked so good, and you quit doing it? Okay, anybody have an example of something? Oh yeah, we used to do that, it worked really well, and you slipped out of the habit of it.
We did the testing.
Intent to promote.
Intent to promote.
That's the one, yes sir.
We did not this time.
Yeah, so if you're not familiar with what that is, it's a letter that we send all of the kids send home that their teacher signs that says they've been a good student, and their parent signs that they've been a good kid in order for them to go qualify for, you know, for the next rank. At the same time, there's a bunch of questions that we put there so we can get feedback from the parents as to how, you know, we think that, you know, they're doing, or for our adults, how they think their program is going. Well, okay, you know, we're so good, but you got out of the habit of doing it. Next thing you know, it's like, oh man, we used to do that, right? So that's a great example. So, if you look at, I just put down some stuff: phone skills, tours, DNS calls, issue cards, awesome cards, BBC talks, 8-step student progress check. You know what goes into a great class. Are you guys familiar with the term zero basing? If not, let me explain the concept behind zero basing. Zero basing is when you take and you go make it a point to not deviate from the basics. Okay. So here's what's happening. I'm picking on you, sir. You have. I'm going to pick on this young man here, the guy with you. Yes, okay. Sir, how many times have you offered answered the phone about? Let me back up. How many times have you taught someone their first lesson? Hundreds of times, right? Probably thousands. And you have a shtick. You know, again, you have a presentation that you do. You could probably do in your sleep. Okay, I'm guessing. You guys' enrollment is really good. Okay, so I know that not only are you doing it, but you're putting your spirit into it. Because if you wouldn't, people would pick up on that. You guys know what I'm saying? So how many of you guys ever had someone call you and say, "Good evening, my name is, how are you today?" You know they're reading off the script. You guys know what I'm saying? Okay, well, we can't phone it in. We've got to be present focused. How many of you guys ever been to a good Broadway play? You guys are some kind of really high quality play. Did those actors, did they do the same performance the night before? And the night before, and the night before? What made it good? Their spirit was there. Yes, they were saying their lines, but their spirit was present. And that's what we've got to make sure you do the basic stuff. But the other thing is that if you don't every now and then pull up and look at your outline for first lessons, you might start to leave things out. And a year and a half later, it's a completely different presentation, and it might be with the one that you're not looking for. And let's imagine if you have a special recipe, like my mom's favorite cake I got for my favorite cake that I got every birthday, until a few years ago, was red velvet, my mom's red velvet cake. She got some recipe back in the 40s from somebody, whatever. Now, every time she ever made that cake, she's made it hundreds of times, she would pull out her little card and she would go through all the ingredients. Now, what would happen if she threw the card away? Chances are, one time later, she adds a little more vanilla and a little less sugar. You guys know what I'm saying? 3 years later, it's a completely different cake, and for some reason it doesn't taste as good. Okay? So that's why all those scripts that you have for how to answer the phone, what to do on a first lesson, all those things, every now and then you got to take them out and retrain your team on it. Make sure that you guys are saying what you want. Here's a classic example, phone skills. We're doing line ring, okay? And if you leave out some minor detail like, do you know where we're located? And they say, yes, we do. And you say, well, what should I say after that? Do you know where we're located? How am I? And I say, yes, I do know where we're located. What's the next line I should say?
And so, you know, it's over there.
You tell them anyway. You guys know what I'm saying? Because how many guys have ever had someone that showed up at the wrong school because you didn't confirm the appointment? Or someone that showed up at your school was supposed to be at the guy down the street school, right? Which is way better, by the way. Okay? So it's a matter of making sure, you know where we're located? Great. Then you know we're on the corner of Fair Oaks and Manzanita, right across from the Rite Aid Shopping Center. Boom. So you kind of confirm that. That's a little minor detail that isn't that big of a deal by itself, right? But maybe that's 1 in 30 people might get the address wrong, maybe 1 in 40. But then what if I leave something else out, or leave something else out? Now all of a sudden we have a completely different level of success, okay? So this is why you break out all those basics and you go through them and make sure that you retrain, you train yourself and anybody else on your team with what's core, what's most important about what it is that you do, okay? By the way, even if it's boring to you, I had an instructor tell me one time we have what's called our 80 warm-up. It's a warm-up that all our schools are supposed to do on Mondays and Tuesdays. On the latter part of the week, the guys, they have a little more latitude as to the warm-up. And one time I go to a school on Monday, and not only do the students not know it, are they not doing it? I go to take over a class, and they don't know it. Clearly, he hasn't been doing it, right? And I go, interesting. And I ask him why, and he goes, oh, the students are bored with that. No, they're not. Guess who's bored with that? He's bored with that. They only get it once a week. You guys with me? All right, and so a lot of times we forget, I already know the phone script. No, man. You got to break it out and review it and make sure that you're on top of it. Okay, so next one, step number 4, remotivate. So many of your students have been inconsistent this summer. Get them motivated again, okay? Anybody have students that went on vacation this summer? Yeah, it's okay, right? And why is that an issue? Why is it so important that we remotivate? What can happen? By the way, they went into summer with the best of intention to get back into training this fall, right? I mean, they just sincerely, wholeheartedly meant to do that. Why is it so important that we, what can happen in the process?
They'll lose their habit.
What?
If they don't come back, they'll lose the habit.
They lose the habit. Okay, so here's one of the things that I would strongly encourage you to do is that if you have someone that's been on vacation, people are saying, this is the vacation month, right? It's first part of August, that's heavy vacation month. Is that hopefully you know when your students are taking vacation. If you're not, write notes to yourself to make sure you know next year, okay? Imagine if I'm coming back from vacation Sunday evening, okay? I'm getting back this Sunday. I haven't been in class, I took the whole month of July off, okay? And I normally go to train Tuesday, Thursday, okay? Why is it so important that this Tuesday, as an instructor, I get that student into my school? Because otherwise, they're going to fill that slot with something else. And now I'm going to go next week, I'm going to get back to it, next time comes around, boom. They missed a whole week, all of a sudden something else is falling into that slot, okay? Besides that, you all know what happens. You miss a month, you feel like you're behind. How many guys ever student said, yeah, I love training, but I'm behind. I'm thinking about quitting because I'm behind. Who the heck are they behind? Do you guys know what I'm saying? That's because we're comparing ourselves with other people, other students, etc. But the reality is people do that, so we have to work with the reality. And so the sooner we can get them back in, my experience has been, if I've got someone that's been gone for a few weeks or a month or 2 months, if I can have one really good session with them, well, then I can get them back, right? But sometimes you really have to work that in. So in a perfect world, man, you're proactive. If you know someone's coming back, they'll get back from vacation on Sunday and they're supposed to be on a Tuesday night, write them a note so it ends up in their mailbox. So when they get home, they say, hey, welcome back. I hope you had a great vacation. See you in class on Tuesday. You guys got the idea? Something that's really going to kickstart that. So just a couple bullet points. Re-message parents on the importance of martial arts. Let me tell you why this is important. Okay? How many guys had have like, children that come from two different, households. Okay, one's a totally believes in your program, the other doesn't as much. Anybody ever have that situation? Maybe the person that doesn't as much is paying the bill, half the bill, all the bill, who knows? Okay? You ever got that person in to sit down and actually watch a promotion that's done well? Guess what happens? I get it. Okay? I get it, right? And so what we have to do this time of year more than any is we got to make sure that we message to the parents the importance of martial arts training, right? Whatever way, shape we can. This is an important time to make sure that your classes are they should always be good. Our classes should always be good, okay? But this is when we wipe the dust off and sit down and really make it a point to make sure that our product is top notch. The difference that I see in the industry now as compared to 20 years ago, even 10 years ago, is that 20 years ago, you could be mediocre and make a decent living teaching martial arts, just because the supply and demand was different than it is now, okay? What's different today, it's still a great time to be in the martial arts industry. It's a great time to be in the martial arts industry. But what's different today is you can't be mediocre anymore. You've got to be A quality, period. It's just as simple as that, okay? Or you're just not gonna, you're just not gonna make it unless it's a hobby for you, which is totally cool. It's a part-time job, which is totally cool. All that stuff is great. But if you're, providing a living for your family, you got to be really good, right? And of course, it all begins with the class. The next session, by the way, Mr. Wilson's going to be kind of addressing that very issue. Final one is, group discussions on the value of focus and commitment. This is what I would do. I would get all my guys together and imagine that this is my class. And let's just imagine this is Monday night. It's the last class of the day. It's my adulthood, and you're it. Everybody got the setup? And it's this time of year, and I worked you out hard tonight, and I felt like it was a good class. Like the end of class, I'm feeling, you all know the feeling when you walk off thinking, hey, that was a pretty good class. You know that feeling. I feel I'm getting that. So I bring you all together. I sit you down. And this is my time. Your endorphins are going. I got your full attention. You're sweaty. You're feeling good. Your stress is left from the day. Listen, I say, hey guys, tell me about the benefits of martial arts. How has it helped you? And I get feedback from my students. And how many guys have ever had issues where? How many tell the truth? How many guys had a hard time? You're thinking, should I go to class tonight or not? How many guys ever had that? Yeah, we've all had that. How many guys, once you come, you're always glad you came? Correct? How you guys glad you came tonight? Okay. You're gonna feel that way in the future, and we're going into the fall season right now. And your kids are gonna be going back to school. Your schedule's gonna get crazy. Okay, remember how you feel right now. Okay, and I would strongly encourage you to recommit to long-term training. Don't be someone who just says, "Yeah, I'm gonna try for a week or two and want to see how it goes." Man, if you commit to your martial arts training or recommit to your martial arts training, you'll find a way to navigate through all the challenges and busy schedule that you're gonna have this fall. Okay, that would be some kind of version of that. That would be the lesson I give all the time with the adults and the kids and the parents of the junior kids. Okay, because here's why this is important. If I wait until they're losing interest and they come to me and say, I don't know if I can fit this in a schedule, and I have that talk, I'm almost too late, right? So if I have it way beforehand and and all of a sudden those feelings start popping into my head, I think, wow. My instructor told me I'd feel like this, but he told me to work through it, I'll get through it. Okay, I'll try that. I'm way more likely. That doesn't guarantee I'm not going to have anybody quit, but it just stacks the odds in favor. Does that make sense? Okay, so it's a super important thing to be thinking about there. Re-educate. This is kind of along the same lines, but put a strong emphasis, on discussing the values and benefits of martial arts training. So, one of the things that if you look in your book right now, open up the flyer. There's a couple of flyers. Can I borrow your book for just a second? There's a couple of ads that you'll see. I believe these are in the resource library. Okay, they're not really ads even. They're a little promotion. You guys see this piece here? So what you'll see here, if you pull it out and look at it, okay, this is re-educating. This is messaging the parents. This is re-educating the parents and the kids of the values. So if you look, you guys can see where it says on one side it says school tips. School success tips for parents. Everybody see that? Is everybody with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. So this is really good information that every parent of a kid in 2nd or 3rd grade should be aware of, right? Because it's going to help them do a good job. But why is this important? So first and foremost, because we deserve to get, parents need to hear this. They need to get it from somewhere. They may not even get it from anyone else. Number 2, this really helps them to associate the value of our program beyond just the martial arts. Does that make sense? I'm a resource, and I'm helping my students do better in school. So that's really the message, the importance of martial arts. Message to junior, basic strategies of success. If you look to the bookmark page, part to the right of it, you'll see school success tips for kids. This is designed to be a cutout. As you can tell, a bookmarker with another side on where the ABCs of conflict avoidance on the other side that you could snip out. Right? But those are things, and it's good common sense stuff. Nothing mind-boggling here, but really good basic stuff. So this is a nice little brochure if you're out and about that you could use that does this, that re-educates people on this time of year. Okay, and there's also another mini handout in there. The concept is best school year ever. That's what we're starting to push right now. We just started week 1 in our schools. We have a 5-week testing rotation. And you'll notice it's one side is back to school success tips for parents. The other side just has some information about our program. And you'll notice where it says real results. You guys see the bottom? This is a legit survey. Now, it's been several years since we do it. We need to do it again. But what we did is we surveyed, it was between 100 and 200 parents of students that have been training with us for a minimum of 6 months and no longer than 2 years. We wanted that time slot because I didn't want to skew it with my, my rating fan, junior black belts. You guys know what I'm saying? We wanted it as legitimate as possible. We asked them, okay, parents, give us a rating on how your children has improved in these areas. Okay, so these are legitimate ratings we got. Everyone, 100% of the people in the survey said their child's confidence improved. 100%. 97% said their self-discipline improved. Their ability to stay focused, their respect for others. You guys got the idea. There's a couple other ones that were less, and they were like, this is before we had a healthy eating program. Better eating habits was like 60%, okay? That probably could have made it, but it wasn't as impressive, so we just didn't have. If we did it again, because we emphasize that more now, we'd probably have a higher score. And so you guys get the idea. We're just trying to educate the market on the benefits of martial arts. By the way, first off, I know this was a legit survey. We didn't make this up. But would you guys verify this in your schools? You know this to be true. If we do our job right, this is stuff that we do, guys. Okay? So it's real. But the general public, they're starting to know, right? But they don't know it to the level that they ought to. Honestly, people should be knocking down the doors of your schools to enroll. I believe that. I've been to a lot of your guys' schools in this room. And I see the quality of what we are doing and how badly America needs what you guys do, right? But somehow we've all got to do a better job of educating people on the benefits of martial arts training, okay? And so that's something that I would strongly encourage you. Here's something that's really important. You understand that back to school is a great time to get new people enrolled, but it's also really a rough time for retention. Anybody know why? Back to school. So what happens is if you've got kids, in California, middle school starts at 7th grade. Is it 6th grade here or 7th grade? For most of them, 6th?
Depends on the district.
Depends on the district. You guys get the idea. There's a big transition from primary school to middle school.
Yeah.
So what happens? I go from having one teacher all day to 5 or 6 teachers. You guys know what I'm saying? And the perception is I have a lot more homework. Settles in. And if as a parent, if I go into the school year and I have a kid that's just going in for us 7th grade, and I'm not fully committed to my martial arts program, the first week of school, there's all these packets and this work, and maybe I have to bug my dog, and then I got to make class. Whoa, a couple weeks into this, I'm going, holy moly, something's got to give here. Right? And by the way, she was pretty inconsistent this summer in martial arts, and the school didn't do enough to get her like that before. So what I would do is I would proactively look for people going into middle school